What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and the weekly content roundup. And this reset, we once again get another hotfix for the game, so we'll cover the changes to gameplay today, but on top of that, we have the vendor and reward refresh for May 9th. So as always, we'll cover new vendor loot, featured weapons for the week, Ada 1's inventory, and the Eververse store, plus key content changes and extra rewards to round out the bulk of stuff you need to know for this reset. And so, as always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you do, be sure to get subscribed for more Destiny content. But otherwise, let's get into it. And starting out today, we do have a new hotfix for the game, with just a few fixes here. So this is hotfix 7053, and initially for Nightfalls, they say they reverted the change that removes the third refraction core in Heist Battlegrounds. So that one is now back, interestingly, but on top of that, they fixed an issue where previously defeated enemies and champions were respawning if players wipe in the Lake of Shadows boss room. So at least that one's a positive, and then they've got some Guardian Games fixes. So they fixed a problem where the normal matchmaking options for Supremacy were missing their descriptions. Another where the Heir Apparent Catalyst and Quest were not progressing via most medallion sources. Plus they fixed an issue where the Fly the Flag bounty is taking much longer than intended to complete, and another where the Champ Seal was not able to be gilded. So we at least have a handful of useful fixes there for Guardian Games. In addition to those though, for weapons, they fixed an issue where swapping from a slug shotgun to another shotgun could allow for a massive damage output, and they say there is now a 2-second window where a weapon cannot be fired after swapping to it from the inventory screen. But also they fixed an issue where Enhanced Eager Edge would deactivate earlier than intended. So kind of a mixed bag, mainly fixes like we said, but at least some of them are positive, so give us your thoughts on those down below. And then otherwise, as we get into the game right here, we can see Guardian Games is active for week 2. The Hunters are currently winning according to the flags right here, although I'm never quite sure what to believe, especially with Bungie putting out random notifications for winners and things like that. So I guess we will simply see how things continue, and let us know if you're grinding out any Guardian Games stuff in the remainder of the event. Otherwise though, for gameplay stuff, we can see on Neomuna, the Vex Incursion Zone has moved to the Zephyr Concourse right here, and we've got Partition Backdoor as the featured mission in that area. Plus, the weekly mission right here is now rotated all the way around to First Contact, and of course that's a pinnacle drop. And additionally, in the Root of Nightmares this week we have the Cosmic Equilibrium Challenge available. Then moving over to Banshee right here for his featured weapons this week. Initially we've got Imperial Needle, this has Sneak Bow and Swashbuckler. Then we've also got Judgment of Kelgarath, which he always seems to have. This one's got Tiltonate Windmills as well as Harmony. Then we've got the Ogma PR6 with Stats for All and Wellspring, as well as the Brass Attacks with Killing Wind and One for All. But also we've got Class Swords right here, and Crown Splitter has Thresh as well as Counter Attack, but of course that will be relevant for each of the individual classes. Then, moving over to the second page, we've got Legal Action 2. This one's got Underdog and Adrenaline Junkie. We also have the Pizzicato SMG with Eye of the Storm and Demolitionist. Then the Ikelos Sniper Rifle right here has 4 times the charm and Box Breathing, which isn't a dreadful roll by any means. We also have the Fioritura 59 sidearm with Threat Detector and Repulsor Brace, which actually is a very, very good roll for this sidearm, one of the best that you can get. We also have the Typhon Grenade Launcher though, with Demolitionist and Wellspring. And finally, the Taipan Linear Fusion Rifle has Ensemble and Opening Shot. So a couple of weapons right here which are potentially decent, but be sure to check in with Banshee throughout the week if you do want to look for better rolls. Heading down to our friend Shader 1 in the annex right here though, and she's got a bit of a mixed bag of armor pieces available this week. So on the Titan at least, we've got the Scorned Baron plate. We also have the Mark of the Colliders class item, the Ear the End class item, and the Memory of Cade mark available right here. On top of that though, there is the Torah Battle Celebration mask, so potentially a couple of items that some folks may want to pick up and add to collections. Then for 10,000 Glimmer each, we've got Ada's shaders, so we have the Satu Tribe shader right here from back in Black Armory. Probably a few folks who'll want to pick that one up. But on top of that, there is the new Pacific Rush shader. I think this is one from Titan back in the day. And we've got the new Monarchy Regalia once again. I think she sold this one a couple of times recently, but let us know if any of those are useful. Heading over to the Eververse store for the week though, in terms of the Bright Dust stuff, we have the Reigning Champion exotic emote available this week for Guardian Games. That one is 3,250 Bright Dust. We also have the Plus Shell exotic ghost for the event right here. and that one's 2850 bright dust, but in addition, there is the Cherry Blossom Entrance Transmat effect for 450 bright dust, and as always, the featured shaders for 300 bright dust each include Rivalry White Sand, a pretty nice one right there, but we also have the Golden Age Wine shader available on the front page this week. Then moving over to the main bright dust section right here, interestingly, no exotic weapon ornament featured this week, but for 4250 bright dust, we do have the Curling Shuffle multiplayer emote for Guardian Games. Then for 700 bright dust, there is the Weightlifter emote available this week, a pretty cool legendary one. And there's also the High Score legendary emote available as well. Again, that one's 700 bright dust. Then getting on to some of the exotic items, we have the Champion Shell for 2850 bright dust. And for 2500 bright dust, there is the Vie for Glory exotic Sparrow available this week. Also for 2000 bright dust, we've got the Victor's Palanquin exotic ship. And the Guardian Games projection is available as well for 1500 bright dust. The second page shaders though this week include Verdant Chrome, this is one of the older Revelry shaders I believe, plus there is the Reef Made shader, very pink and purple shader right there, and we've got the Up for Grabs shader for Guardian Games, this one is 300 bright dust as well, and is somewhat garish, but a nice one to pick up right here. My armor doesn't show it off particularly well, but it's Photo Finish, which does have RGB colors that kind of cycle through right there. You can see it on the gauntlets. That was a very popular one last year, so if you haven't picked it up, definitely worth picking up and trying out with a bunch of different gear as it is pretty cool. But on top of that, there is the Spring Fountain effects, as well as the Cherry Blossom entrance once again, and the Contender's entrance transmat effect, and all of these will be 450 bright dust. The final thing to mention right here is the Nightfall and weapon for the week. So the Glassware is the featured Nightfall. We're also going to see bonus rewards all week long, so it'll be a pretty good one to farm. And the featured Nightfall weapon is the Buzzard. So of course this is an adaptive frame kinetic sidearm. And looking at trait bonuses right here, in the first trait slot it can roll Overflow, as well as Perpetual Motion, Encore, Pulse Monitor, 4th times the Charm, or Compulsive Reloader. And as we can see, even from the popular rolls right here, Overflow is obviously a pretty good bonus. Perpetual Motion is decent as well, especially when paired with some of the stuff in the second slot, where we have Kinetic Tremors, without a doubt the most popular bonus for this. So pairing that with any of the top 3 trait bonuses in slot 1, and you're going to have a pretty good weapon. But it can also roll Rangefinder, Frenzy, Swashbuckler, Vorpal Weapon, and Multi-Kill Clip in the second slot. So a few possibilities depending on what you want to do with the weapon, but especially Overflow and Kinetic Tremors is pretty much considered to be the god roll on this sidearm. So let us know if you're still hunting one of these down, or any good rolls that you've been enjoying using. The final mention though is for the Lost Sectors featured this week. So for May 9th, we're going to see Skydock drop in exotic legs, and that's followed by the Quarry on May 10th with exotic gauntlets. Then we get a Felion's Rest on May 11th dropping exotic chest pieces, and May 12th will drop exotic helmets from Chamber of Starlight. Then we've got Perdition on May 13th dropping exotic legs. May 14th will be Bunker E15 dropping exotic gauntlets, and finally for the 15th of May, we'll get the Conflux dropping chest pieces. So just in case you're still using those Lost Sectors to hunt down any exotic armor, hopefully that quick preview will be useful. Otherwise though, for today guys, that is everything that we have to speak about in the video. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and if you have, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. Also, if you're new around here and you want to see more Destiny content, feel free to get subscribed and I'll keep you up to date. But otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.